about 337 Bitcoin short, 47 Bitcoin short on OKX, 90 Bitcoin short on
BitGet,
and on Binance 200.
I've invested about 48 billion won.
After my last broadcast, it was around this point. If the ending pattern appears, I'll enter short, and if there's no ending and it rises, I'll wait and see. That's the 10-second summary of the last broadcast. But the ending didn't appear, right? Then you just don't trade. Actually, I kept thinking it wouldn't be an impulse wave. Why? Because the correction size was too small and too quick, wasn't it? Starting from 17,000 now, it rose a little over 6 times to approximately 110,000, and the rising period was quite long. But compared to that, the correction only came to 0.618, and then the time was too short. And when looking at the economic situation, with only one time of interest rate cut predicted for this year, there was a complex thought process about market capital liquidity. So I expected a rebound, followed by another drop, and then the anticipation of the next bull market opening. That was my expected scenario, but now my thinking has changed. This must have been the real end of the correction. The reason is clear. It's just wave counting. I entered a short position here before, and I was about to take partial profits here. The partial profit-taking point didn't quite come, so I exited with a small loss here, and I said it was strange at that time. A correction came after one upward wave, but it didn't even reach the levels of 0.786. From a channeling perspective, if it breaks out of the channel, saying it only corrected this much doesn't make sense. So over the weekend, I took a careful look at everything and really thought about it. And I realized that from here to here wasn't just one single wave like I initially believed. It was actually more complex than that. From here to here was the wave 3. And I think then this is wave 5. It's the wave 1, 2, and 3, and a running flat that I typically don't see has suddenly appeared. There was an ABC. It rose to ABC and fell with impulse. Then the running flats fit perfectly. That means this was wave 4. Then everything makes sense. Since it was running flat, it was a 0.786 adjustment. And while it seemed the channel was broken, it turns out this wasn't the end of this wave. So now my perspective has changed. A correction will come, and within about 3 months, we'll see a new all-time high. Anyway, so now I think the wave pattern has almost completed. Or it might rise once more and then fall, or something along those lines. It's hard to predict exactly what will happen next with these patterns. Today it hit 106,000, and the highest was 109,000. It only needs to rise 3% more to reach a new all-time high. But there hasn't been any significant correction from the bottom to the new all-time high. So, from a conventional perspective, the adjustment should be 0.618, ranging from 95,000 to about 92,000, but it's a level everyone is aware of, right? So it's possible that it might not come here after all. So, if a short correction comes, it might not settle here, but come around this area, and from here, considering the recent rise, this point here is about 97,000, and it might rise from there. So in my case, since I think it will exceed the new high, if it falls this time, starting from 97,000, I'll be buying in portions on spot trading, not futures. I have the most amount of cash right now. So I'll focus on buying Bitcoin this time, and I'll also purchase some altcoins to diversify my cryptocurrency portfolio. And looking at the results, I don't know if it will come here or not, but if it comes to 97,000 and I decide to buy Bitcoin here as spot trading, I actually sold most of it at this price range before. So I'm either buying at almost the same price or buying at a cheaper price after selling higher. But when did I buy this Bitcoin? As you know, I bought it here. Of course, in the middle, I did a lot of partial selling here and here, but I still had quite a lot of Bitcoin, and of that, I sold 75% and kept 25%. Anyway, I bought here, held until here, then sold, and now I'm going to re-enter here. Even though I expected bearish market, it's not bad. So now I'm in a short position with this investment, about 337 Bitcoin short, and my rough calculation puts it at about 48 billion won. 47 Bitcoin short on OKX, 90 Bitcoin short on
BitGet,
and on Binance 200.
I've invested about 48 billion won.
And no matter the wave pattern, I'll definitely take my first partial profit here. For the second target price, I'll check the wave count and place it either here or at the support zone's lower boundary. and I'll switch to a long position either here or here, depending on the wave counting pattern. So for those who want to buy spot, the first good buying spot is obviously when it comes here and finds support. But they might not give us the obvious position that everyone knows. If it reaches the 97,000 line, which was the turning point of this rise, it might be good to do split purchases. And now, to speak again about altcoins, the reason I said altcoins were finished is because I thought Bitcoin will fall like this. Will alt go up alone? That's why I said there's no alt season, but I think Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high. And now, looking at today, one thing I want to mention. There wasn't much volatility, right? About 3 or 4 hours ago, it suddenly rose and then fell again. But the reason for that significant rise was the ongoing US-China tariff negotiations, which created uncertainty in the market. To summarize the announcement in 2 lines, the US-China tariffs are being delayed by 90 days. Originally, the US was talking about 140% tariffs, and China about 120% tariffs on each other. But they are delaying 90 days for the tariffs, and the US tariff is 30%. China will set it at 10%. This was the announcement made today. There was a sudden surge and then a drop when the tariff delay was announced. Anyway, it's good news. It's reduced from 140% to 30%. However, what we need to consider is when the good news comes from the peak. Then it is not good news. Conversely, bad news at the bottom is what? It is not bad news. From that perspective, the price quickly rose due to the good news. Trading volume exploded, and now it's come back down. Back to where it was. So short-term profit taking probably happened here. Looking at the volume, there might be some pressure and downside. At least until here. That's why we set the first target price here. Q. Are you seeing this as wave 5 now? The detailed sub-counting of wave 1 seems not impulsive enough to me. I thought the same thing. Because the smaller wave is here, right? This doesn't look like an impulse even to me. It just looks like ABC. But if we broadly consider this as an impulse now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then at 1, 2, and 3, whatever wave 4 is, it's descending, right? You can see it as a descending wave that came out and fell, or you might find the first wave too unsettling. If you're concerned about whether ABC or impulse, you can just count it as ABC. Wave 5 rises as ABC and may produce an extension wave at the end, so it seems like an impulse anyway. Q. If Bitcoin exceeds its previous high and an alt season comes, how can we select which alts will rise? Well, it's been trending upward for over 2 years now, showing a consistent positive trajectory. It's not accurate. The trend is roughly like this. I don't know how far it will go, but this channel will break. If it breaks, it will probably break here. Otherwise, it will break here. That means the dominoes will be shattered. At least it will come until 50 or 40%. It'll come up to this line. So we're looking at whether an alt season might come at that time. But if we look at the past, for an alt season to rise like before, there needs to be a drop in Bitcoin dominance. In 2018, the value was significantly reduced, as it was from 70 to 35. This substantial decrease represented a 50% reduction in Bitcoin dominance. It was between 2021 and 2022. If it drops this time, for a bigger alt season than before, this level must break. It needs to go down this way. But what if it ends up settling above this line? What would happen then? The volatility would be smaller, right? The extent of the drop in the dominance? That naturally means the altcoin rise would be limited, implying they won't rise as much as before. They might come this far. Anyway, the trend is ongoing, and since there's usually a reversal at the end of a trend, an alt season could come. But looking at the BTC dominance chart, I think the upside might be more limited than before. And if we need to select altcoins, as I've mentioned many times before, we should focus on major coins. However, right now, regardless of what anyone says, meme coin is trending. So if you want to take some risk to earn more, you should go with meme coin. If you don't want to take as much risk, you have no choice but to go with top altcoins. That seems there will be technological innovation. You need to go with those altcoins. I don't know which altcoins are popular. These days the trends are SUE, then Solana, things like that, but that's already reflected in their prices. The level just needs to rise a bit more to reach a new high. Wow, the SUE chart looks pretty. I've never seen a SUE chart before, but it looks nice. Here too, the chart flows in a textbook manner after coming out to the outside area. Here too, there was a leading pattern, a correction, a clear impulse, a match. Wave 4 appeared, and an impulse wave 5. The SUI is flowing very well according to the chart, so I don't really know which coins are promising. Many of you analyze fundamentals beyond charts, so you can refer to those people. You can just pick promising coins.